Now it's time for our press review on the programme. We're starting with harrowing reporting, in fact, this from the Associated Press about forced birth control on ethnic minorities in China. Dipti's with us, Dipti.
Hi, Stuart. Yeah, these are pretty horrific allegations. They came out in a report from the AP yesterday, which found that Chinese authorities are using various methods like routine pregnancy testing and forced abortions on its Uyghur minority. In addition, sterilization, IUD devices on hundreds of thousands of women to prevent the Muslim minority from reproducing. Chinese authorities have led brutal crackdowns on its Muslim minorities like the Uyghurs, but also the Rohingya. At least 1 million Uyghurs have been imprisoned in China since 2016, which in reality are concentration camps to sort of get them to abandon their culture. They've also been forced to sing propaganda songs, subjected to medical experiments, and even claims of organ harvesting, which the latter has been denied by China.
Shocking report. The French paper Libération today, they're looking at Emmanuel Macron's announcement yesterday that he does plan to adopt nearly all the measures put forward by the Citizens' Climate Convention. He had to, really, after the elections, didn't he?
Exactly. It was sort of an about-face for the French president. That convention, that Citizens' Convention, was held earlier this month, and Macron's announcement is not entirely unopportunistic. It comes after historic victories by the environmental parties in France in local elections on the weekend, a clear sign that French voters, at least the few of them that voted, want more sustainable solutions. This headline from Libération is actually a play on words of the French title of a film in 1984 by Robert Zemeckis called Romancing the Stone. Here in this picture, they're not in the Colombian jungles like it was in the film, but they're in the gardens of the Champs-Élysées Palace, so not quite the same thing. Macron has agreed to adopt most of those measures from that convention, but he has nixed the more contentious ideas like a dividends tax to finance ecological politics or lowering the speed on French highways, the paper accusing him of only paying lip service to green politics, saying the resignation of his environmental minister and environmental activist Nicolas Hulot in 2018 showed that being green is, quote, just a layer of paint for the French president.
It is a perfect picture for that story, isn't it? Now, a damning parliamentary report now, a sad story this, from Australia. It's warning that the much-loved native koalas will become extinct. Now, this is before 2050, isn't it, in one state?
Yeah, that state is New South Wales, Stuart. The report is specific to the state of New South Wales, so it's not saying all of the koalas, but all the koalas in the state of New South Wales. This year-long investigation counted populations of about 36,000 koalas, but it doesn't take into account the devastating bushfire season earlier this year, which decimated populations. So that number will be even lower. The Sydney Morning Herald here reporting that habitat loss is the biggest cause of this destruction of koala populations. Yet logging and deforestation continues. Koalas need fertile soils, they need moderate temperatures and forests, but climate change has changed all that and made it harder and harder for them to find their only source of sustenance, eucalyptus leaves.
Just time for a bit of sports news now. Mercedes-Benz unveiling its new Formula One cars for the season. Starts this week. It's overtly political, this, isn't it?
Yeah, the early part of the season was cancelled due to the pandemic. The first race is taking place this weekend in Austria without a crowd, and it appears that Mercedes is riding on the Black Lives Matter movement. After 10 years, they've ditched the silver kits for black kits to reflect, they say, the anti-racism movement sparked by George Floyd's death. Even emblazoned with anti-racism slogans, their star driver is, of course, Black Lewis Hamilton. The German team has vowed diversity in the company, admitting that only 3% of its workforce are ethnic. It's a pretty opportunistic move, let's be honest. But if some good comes out of it, then why not, I guess?
Why not? I suppose 3% is pretty poor, isn't it?
It is pretty poor, yeah.
Diptyque. Thank you very much, Diptyque Laurent on France 24. That's the papers.